There we go. Welcome to Beacon of Speech. This is Fred Hunt. Across the table from me is Ted Coley.
Hello, Fred Hunt.
How are you?
Okay, how you doing? It's been, what, 2 weeks?
2 whole weeks because I've been jamming up our computer with bad files. And now we've been playing around with modulations and awesome things with sound files.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. It's... as they say at the local radio station, technical difficulties galore.
Stand by.
What else? What is Beacon of Speech? Well, today Beacon of Speech is technical difficulties. One of the things that me and Ted are trying to do is we're trying to move away from the sound file, and we're trying to go to live streaming. But, oh yeah, I see it's doing better, but not great. But with the live streaming, I've been playing with the computer, playing with different files. I have it so we could do it at my house, but you don't want to do it from my basement. It smells like cat piss. Okay? So we still want Joe to be involved.
Now,
Joe,
is this cat piss, is this like a new thing? Or
no.
Because I didn't notice it when I was there.
Well, that's because I don't think the litter box has been changed since you've been there.
Okay.
So it's not an unnatural thing. It's things that could be solved if we change litter boxes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Every problem has a solution.
Every problem, just like when we talked to you could build a Death Star. You know, just nobody in the world gets to eat for 3 years. You know, you'd have somebody could clean the cat box, but the question is, would we actually clean the cat box?
Maybe he can do it.
Oh, maybe. That guy loves cleaning the cat box. Don't get me started about that guy either. All right. What were we saying? What is Beacon of Speech? It's technical difficulties. So anyhow, I have some questions for you, and Joe is back from paternity leave. He left so we can play with our technical difficulties. Yay, Joe's back. You know, we should have a great entrance when he comes back in, and we could talk about how wonderful he is. So I'm going to go slightly out of order. We just came from a work meeting, and Joe was falling asleep. So I don't know if he's going to be able to stay with us the whole program. But here is our number...
Was he actually falling asleep?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was like Bob. You know, I remember Bob falling asleep at every meeting, and then they'd get mad at him. He's like, what? I work all day, and then you guys bore me, and then I fall asleep, and then you yell at me like it's my fault. But, I only have 3 topics on my outline today. Me and you kind of talked about the third thing, the top 100 drummers. We're going to do that last, okay? Because Rolling Stone pissed me off. Number 2, which is in the news, is the Panama Papers. Do you know what the Panama Papers is? Have you been following that?
Panama Rolling Papers?
I think that's a different kind of scandal. I don't think a lot of people in Panama work. I think a lot of people are doing Panama Rolling Papers. But number 1, and we'll start without Joe. He can jump in while we're going. You know who Nostradamus is? Not damn it.
Yeah, I do know him.
He predicts the future. He predicted 9/11 by saying a great fire will come from the sky.
The sky will burn at 45 degrees or something like that?
Yeah, something insane, where there's no way in hell that he really predicted it. You know, I could get a fever from the flu and write down the things I'm... The worst flu I ever had, right? I had like a temperature of 104, 105, and I was dehydrating. I had just moved away from home. And for like, I think all afternoon I was hallucinating about a can of beans. And the can of beans would haunt me. Like, I was in the can of beans, and I was out the can of beans, and I was starving, but I couldn't get the can of beans. And it was all about this can of beans and a can opener, and everything was like a blur all afternoon. Well, it's the same thing with these soothsayers. They just predict, I see a great fire, I see great distress, right? Well, the reason I bring up Nostradamus is because, Nostradamus, I read all about him, and they're like, oh, he predicted everything. Well, you know what? He was so vague that you could almost plug in anything. You know what I mean? Oh, a great man will come from the north, and there will be distress in the south, and yeah, great job, genius. But the reason I bring that up is because there's a new Nostradamus that I've been reading about today, and she was on Alex Jones. She wasn't really on Alex Jones, but he was talking about her. Her name is Baba Vanga. Do you know who Baba Vanga is?
I know Baba Booey, but
I think that's a different set of predictions. Baba Vanga, I've been reading about. She was a woman. She was born in Bulgaria in 1911. Okay? And if I had...
And she's still alive?
Oh, no, she's dead.
Okay.
But she was born in 1911 in Bulgaria. She barely left her home. As a child, she went blind. And when you see pictures of her, she looks like a typical blind person with no eyes. You know, the real sunken eyes.
Yeah.
And you could tell she didn't have eyes for a long time, right? Or not eyes, but eyesight,
Yeah.
right? And she was a clairvoyant. Well, supposedly, because she was illiterate, she could only tell stories. You know what I mean? I see this, I see that, blah, blah, blah. And people would write stuff down. Okay, well, she died in 1996. Well, I guess the reason why is in her day, people in Bulgaria, Romania, Russia, they would pay to see her. And they said, we want to see our future. Yeah. And supposedly she had an 80% hit rate, right? And she predicted people's deaths. She predicted this. They predicted that. Okay? Now, we're going to start...
She wouldn't predict the people who go to see her. She wouldn't predict their death, would she?
Well, one she did. I guess.
See, that's one of the reasons I wouldn't go to see somebody like that. It's like, I don't want to find out bad stuff.
Well let's
talk. You'll find that out soon enough.
Listen, I'm learning about Baba Vanga. 2 weeks ago, I didn't know who she was, right? During the 1950s, she predicted global warming, okay? Cold regions will warm and the volcanoes will awaken, okay? And it says she predicted the 2004 tsunami again in the 50s because a huge wave will cover a big coast covered with people and towns. And everything will disappear beneath the water. Vague.
Yeah.
I could say that now and you'd be like, oh, Fred Hunt predicted the tsunami at 2032. And then she also said everything will melt on Earth just like ice. Well, that's great. I can... Okay, here's a 50-50 shot right now. I make a prediction, right? Some criminal pokes out my eyes, right? And I say, you know what? I'm a clairvoyant, and in 50 years, it's going to be hotter. Well, I got a 50-50 shot. It's almost like playing roulette. It's either going to be red, or it's going to be black, or there's a 2% it's going to be green.
Now, you said she predicted the tsunami in 2004.
Right.
Did she give the right year, or did she just say sometime in the...
No, her words were, a huge wave will cover a big coast covered with people and towns.
And she didn't say when?
No.
Just at some point this is going to happen.
Well, one of her predictions was actually spot on. These are her most famous predictions. And then the next one, her most famous prediction, in 1989, which would be about 10 years before her death, she said, horror, horror, the American brethren, believed to be reference to the two brother towers, 9/11, will fall after being attacked by a steel bird. Well, didn't Nostradamus basically say the same thing?
Yeah.
There will be, in the new world, there will be great birds of whatever.
Yeah, because they would see these things, but they didn't know what they were.
Right.
You know, because they didn't have planes.
And in
back
Bulgaria,
then.
she'd never seen the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
She didn't know what New York City was. Right? So maybe you can give her 9/11 because that was 10 years in advance. But this is the one that's really creepy. Okay? In 1980, she predicted the sinking of the Russian nuclear submarine Kursk in 2000. Now, you remember the Kursk.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's where they were on the floor and the guys were still alive.
Yeah, they were still alive
and
in
they
the
just
submarine. And
they couldn't get to them.
And in 1980, she said... I saw the crew die horrible deaths over several days while international rescue crews tried in vain to retrieve the vessel from the depths of the ocean. Until the tragedy, people assumed the Kursk that Vanga referred to was the Russian city, not the name of the submarine.
Yeah.
She actually said there will be a crew of people will die horrible deaths in Kursk. Well, they thought they meant in the city. Well, she meant the submarine.
So was that the name of the submarine?
Yeah, that was the name of the submarine.
Wow, that is pretty.
So that one is pretty creepy, right?
Yeah, she hit a home run
And
with that one.
at the end of the century, and she actually nailed it within 1 year. In August of 99 or 2000, Kursk will be covered with water and the whole world will be weeping over it. Okay? And then she also predicted...
Trump?
She predicted Obama. She said first black president would be, born shortly after. But she also said that the 44th president, which was Obama, would be the last U.S. president. Okay? Now, unless things really go bad, right? I don't think Trump's the last U.S. president. Or not Trump, I'm sorry, Obama.
Maybe this primary thing will be so messed up that they won't even be able to elect a president.
Yeah, maybe we will have and then Vanga will be right.
Yeah.
Baba Vanga. Okay, now, you could say, well, some of those are true, like the
last U.S. president, and she doesn't go into any details
nope,
other
she
than
just
that.
says that the 44th will be the last U.S. president.
Wow.
Now, the curse, that's creepy.
Yeah, that really is. And I remember when that happened.
But global warming, that's kind of... Come on in, Joe. That's kind of hit or miss. We're talking about predictions of the future.
Back to the Future?
So we'll pick back up with Baba Vanga. Now, we're talking about a person who predicts the future, a clairvoyant. Do you want... If she was alive today, she would probably predict your future. Now, pretend like I was a clairvoyant, Ted. I'd be like, I predict 18 years of suffering for Joe Kaufman. Now...
Why is that?
Now that's an educated guess, but there's a good chance that I would be right. You could argue that Joe would suffer in 18 years unless he hits the lottery,
What am I
right?
suffering from? I got some kind of disease or something to come down with?
Yeah, it's well, that's what we're talking about. I'm going to start doing prophecies and make them really vague so I'm right.
Like the weather people?
Yeah,
Got
kinda.
50% chance of rain today.
Well,
Thanks, man.
well, this is what I was telling Ted. Now, Ted, she has more predictions, and that's why I wanted Joe to join us. So this blind clairvoyant, they were...
So you weren't done reading.
Oh no,
off
she
her. Okay.
has a slew of them.
Okay.
Because I never heard of her before. She wasn't on, but Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, he found her writings, and this is why she's on the news. This is why they're talking about her on talk radio stations. This is why they're talking about her on CNN. I saw that article. It says, who is Baba Vanga? Right? She predicted in 2016, Muslims will invade Europe, which will be the beginning of the end, and Europe will cease to exist as we currently know it.
Jeez.
The ensuing campaign of destruction will last decades, driving out populations and leaving the entire European continent almost empty.
Oh man.
So, she made this prediction, and supposedly she has an 80% hit rate. Again, you can make numbers out of anything. But so Alex Jones picked up on this, and he's like, this is the invasion that Baba Vanga is talking about.
And in what year did she predict that?
In the 1980s.
In the 80s.
Yeah. When she was, like I said, in a small Bulgarian village, she didn't know what the hell was going on. She doesn't know what's going on in Russia or Iraq or Iran. She knows local stuff from what she hears, but she's not watching the nightly news.
How do you know?
Like, she was
You never
blind.
know.
She was blind.
She could hear, right?
So you think she was listening to CNN in her
Yeah.
little grass shack or
hut,
little
one of those
hut
crank
in
radios,
Bulgaria?
man. She's been listening to cranking up that radio.
You think her and Joey G were listening to Alex Jones?
Yeah.
In her little... Well, here, this is
Maybe
what,
that's Joey G's mom.
maybe it is.
Baba Vanga.
Baba Vanga, it could be. So she went on, and this is why I want to know if you guys agree or disagree, or if we can make predictions like this. She said in the year 2023, which is only, what is this?
7 years?
7 years. The Earth's orbit will change. And then in parentheses it says, nobody knows what she meant by that. So in 2023, the Earth's orbit will change. Well, what the hell does that mean?
It doesn't change all the time.
Well, it's
What, the way it spins, right?
yeah. Well, the way it
Because we had
rotates
that
around the sun.
earthquake, since we had that massive earthquake, didn't the rotation like mess up just by a tiny little bit? And they say
yeah, a
something about
tiny
that? Or
bit.
threw it off its axis.
Oh, that was the tsunami, right?
Right. But in order for it to change, you would think she means change, but like you said, you could be like, oh, Baba Vanga was right because in the tsunami it moved 0.002 rotations. And that's what she meant. Again, she doesn't have what constitutes being right or what constitutes being wrong. Well, again, she said 2023.
If you pull enough shit out of your ass, you say enough shit, you just make up
Well,
stuff.
that's why I wanted you in for this part of the webcast. The next, because there's a whole page of these. Basically, humanity is screwed. Once we're done, we're basically on the downward slope.
It's like saying, hey, the next 5 years there's going to be a war.
Well, and that's the thing. There's going to be great wars in Africa. Yeah, there's great wars in Africa now.
It's going to crash in the next 6 years.
Well, here's the next thing. 2025, which is 10 years, they said due to the Muslim invasion, the population of Europe will reach almost zero.
No.
So you disagree. You think that she's hot.
Yeah, she needs to go back to her grass hut.
Well, no, she's dead. She
Okay.
died in 96, so no more grass
She
hut.
couldn't protect her the day she was going to die, huh?
Actually, one of the predictions was she said that she thought she would die on August 11th, and she died on August 11th or something. That was one of the things she was right about.
Wow.
But, anybody could say, I'm going to die and then kill themselves. I don't know. For all Joe Kaufman, the cynic, could say, she drank cyanide on, But yeah, she did do creepy things like that. And again, I only took the highlights, what I saw.
How come she didn't pick lottery numbers?
Well, no, because she's dead. You would have...
No, how come she didn't back then?
Well, because Bulgaria didn't have a national lottery.
Well, she could have left, right?
And, well, yeah, you
Like
think...
she was stuck there.
But they said
her
not
and her
only
walking
did she
stick.
make predictions, but she could contact the dead, and she was in tune with the spirit world.
Yeah,
So...
like Sylvia Brown.
Yeah, Sylvia Brown, but I think Sylvia Brown might be doing it for a different reason. Did your wife listen to
daughter's
Sylvia
dead.
Brown?
Remember that when she said, "What's her face?" That one lady from Cleveland.
Oh
was
yeah,
dead?
that was horrible. The girl from you know what Joe's talking about, right?
I'm not sure who
Sylvia
is.
Brown told the mother of one of the Cleveland Three. It was
the one who broke out of the house.
Amanda De Jesus.
Oh, Amanda Berry.
Amanda Berry.
Yeah.
Told
She
Amanda
told her-
Berry's mom saying, she's like, "Oh, is my daughter alive? Is there any possibility?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I see water, and I don't."
And they said she was dead and she was underwater. And in reality, she was a sex slave a couple of blocks away from their house. So Sylvia Brown couldn't have been more wrong.
And her mother ended up dying.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said she died from the stress of her daughter being gone. So, in the year 2028, Baba Vanga says mankind will fly to Venus. But why?
To get away from the chaos in Europe.
Water.
That's a good guess. You're much closer. We will burn through all of our resources, and we will need a colony for more resources.
So where are they going to?
Venus.
Oh yeah, because you can live on Venus.
Yeah, I mean, what's up there? Are there any resources up there?
We can't go to Venus because you send an aircraft up there, they have like acid rain all the time, every day.
You don't have to go to Mars.
You send up.
It's too hot too. Isn't
You
it?
send up a spacecraft and it melts in the acid. There's sulfuric acid in the clouds. So logistically, you can't do it. Well, apparently she knows something we don't. In the year, and again, in her vision, we're all screwed, which is very depressing. In the year 2033, water levels will rise as the polar ice caps melt. And then in parentheses, they said she was already right about this. Well, yeah, Joe Kaufman is rolling his eyes.
I hate this lady already.
Well, just remember, she was a little old lady who was illiterate and she didn't have any eyes. She apparently, like I said, she could have dreamt all this. She could have been tortured by demons and dreamt all this and then attached a year to it. In the year 2043, Europe's transformation into an Islamic caliphate is 100% complete. So the basically the overrunning of Europe is from 2016 to 2043, 27-year war, which started this year, and it's complete. And they said all of Europe is now under Islamic control. Rome is now named the capital of the new caliphate, and the world's economy thrives under the Muslim rule in 2043.
That's awesome.
So basically, they took over Italy. So now, who is most upset about this? The next prediction in 2066, America is upset that Europe was overrun. And they use a new climate change weapon, which I don't know that we could develop a climate change weapon in 50 years for the first time.
Already?
What?
Don't they have one already? Up
Yeah.
in Alaska?
Yeah, we'll just burn more oil.
Oh, they're supposed to have something that's supposed to change like the patterns of the clouds or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah.
Well, see, maybe she was
There
right about that.
Who's that governor from Minnesota?
Ventura.
Yeah, he had that conspiracy theory show.
Yeah.
And it had it on something like that. I forgot what they called it. Some kind of... You could change the environment. So you
Well,
could-
see, maybe she was right. But they said, we will use it. We will use it against the new Islamic Europe in order to retake Rome and bring Christianity back to Europe. Because we want to retake Rome and the Vatican City. Now, if we lost Vatican City, because I'm Catholic, you're Catholic, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any army's going to take it back. I think they're like,
Well, what were they doing in the 27 years before it was lost?
I don't know.
Yeah, why wouldn't they help them out?
Yeah, I mean, before it's actually...
Because we were too busy being materialistic and counting our money.
Yeah.
And then, 10 years after we try to retake Rome, we fail. But Europe then falls to communism, and communism takes over the world 100%. In 2076, communism will be the political system of Earth. That'll be the Earth political party. It'll be communism. So so things are looking bleak. And we're not talking thousands of years in the future. In 2076, my kids will be our age.
Now, was Joe here when you said she predicted that Obama will be the last president?
No, he came in right after that. She said Obama will be the last president. That something's going to happen to America. That Obama will be the last president.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Then what are we going to have after that, then?
well, we're going there. In the year 2084, nature will be reborn. That's her prediction.
What?
You have to see Joe's face.
So nature passed away at
Her
some point?
prediction is nature is that's the thing. 2084, nature is reborn. Now,
So Jesus comes back.
I don't know. In parentheses, it says nobody is really sure what this prediction means. Now, 100 years from now, in the year 2100, man-made sun will illuminate the dark side of the planet. And then again, in parentheses, this is already in the pipeline. Since 2008, scientists have been working on creating an artificial sun using nuclear fission. Well, that's partially true. We're not trying to make an artificial sun to use it. We're trying to make fusion as an energy source. Instead of nuclear fission, we want to use nuclear fusion. So that's not really... She's not really right about that either. Okay? Now, 2130,
Maybe she was getting senile and she was...
only
making these predictions.
115 years from now, with the help of the aliens who come to Earth, civilization will be half underwater. There'll be the above ground people and then the underground people, or the underwater people. So that's only in 100 years. That means
You're going to have sea people?
yes, your grandchildren will talk to the aliens about living in the sea.
Getting gills and living in the sea?
Now, let's be honest now.
They could be fish people?
This would be
Be
your
mermaids?
your little mermen. Now, these would be your grandchildren. When your grandchildren are your age, we're talking about your grandchildren would be living under the sea with the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Do you think that society will advance in 100 years to where your grandchildren could live under the sea with the aliens?
Oh yeah.
Because I think about my grandfather, right? And things came a long way, but he worked on the railroad. And, we still use railroad technology. You know what I mean? It's not like... I don't think technology could jump that fast.
You think?
I
Really? Really?
Well, that's why I'm
Unless
reading.
everybody that's underneath the water is wearing scuba gear.
But everybody's going crazy because of her prediction. Again, she died in 1996, so over 20 years ago, she said Muslims will invade Europe.
This, though?
Alex Jones.
Yeah, idiot talk show people. They have nothing better to talk about.
If you ask Jesse Ventura, maybe he would say it too. And I voted for Jesse. I voted for him too.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. I voted for him in Minnesota. He gave me a big tax rebate.
That's good. At least you got something from them.
All right, do you want me to keep going? There's a page and a half.
Sure.
Of
I
this.
want to hear what else she's predicting.
In the year 2170,
She's like
there'll be...
Nostradamus, huh?
Yeah. And again, me and Ted talked about vague predictions. Major global drought.
What happened to all the water?
I don't know.
Yeah, weren't we just underneath water? Didn't we just have fish people? No.
I'm going back. In 2130, there was people living underwater, but then maybe all the above land
people mutated back to land people?
I don't know. In the year 2187, and again, she predicted it out for until the end of time.
Okay. That's cool.
2187, 2 large volcanic eruptions will be successfully stopped by man. Okay? Now, again, me and Ted, we were talking about predictions. Is the Earth going to get hotter or colder? Well, you got 50-50 shot of being right? In the year 2200, which is 200 years from now, that's like going from the revolution to today, temperatures will drop because the sun will not burn as hot.
Yeah. Or will the Earth start moving further away from
Oh, I don't know.
And then maybe because of the orbit changing.
Yeah.
Spinning away.
In 2262, planets will slowly change orbits. Mars will nearly be destroyed by a comet.
Yeah, I can see that. Anybody could predict that. Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to go into prediction business, and we need a scam where we can say things are hot. Even when people come in, they said that people can't predict the future. They try to read the person and see what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You've got a single girl coming in. She's been like, I've been trying to have a baby. Well, all of a sudden, all your predictions are all about babies. Well, you're going to struggle to have a baby, but there'll be great joy at the end of your journey. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, this might be my favorite one. In the year 2354, in 300 years, an accident on the artificial sun will result in more drought for the Earth.
I can see that happening, yeah. She hit the nail on the head with that one.
And then in the year 2480, 2 of our artificial suns, because the temperature started to drop, so the Earth got cooler, 2 artificial suns will accidentally collide and leave the dark Earth mostly in the dark.
Then we're all dead.
Oh, no. We're getting there. In the year 3005, in 1,000 years...
Wait. But if the sun goes away...
Oh, no, we'll still have our real sun. The 2 artificial suns
so now we have 2 artificial... So why do we need 2 artificial suns if we still have the regular sun?
Because the regular sun's not burning as hot. So now we have little artificial suns. And 2
how are we making those?
I am not Baba Vanga's publicist. I don't know.
We gotta go in the artificial sun business.
But this is the year 2480. In the year 3005, and again, think 1,000 years in the future. That's like us going back to the Middle Ages.
Man,
right?
1,000 years, we'd be freaking dust, man.
We'll be dead as a doornail.
In the year 3005, a war on Mars will change the trajectory of human history.
War on Mars.
Yes, the war on Mars.
Who's up in Mars? Total Recall? Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't know. I like Total Recall. Did you like Total Recall?
Okay. The old one. The new one sucked.
I didn't like the new one. Yeah, I did like the old one. In the year 3010, and if we're gonna save this. Well, I'm gonna put this in the.
We're gonna save
I'm
it.
gonna put this in the
We're gonna
prediction.
save
We're
it
gonna
for
open it up in 3,000.
I'm gonna put this in the prediction folder, Ted, and see if she's
Can
right.
we go to that one company and have ourselves? We all have ourselves frozen.
Yes, we're all gonna get frozen, and we're gonna check this out. I want
Come
to
back
freeze
live in
this.
3,000 years.
In the year 3010, a comet will hit and partially destroy the moon. The Earth will be surrounded by a ring of rock and ash.
No, because eventually it'll fall down. Gravity will probably grab it and pull it down, right?
I would think that you're right, but that's not what it says. But, okay, in the year exact, write this down. We're putting this in the prediction folder. In the year 3797, everything on Earth will die. That is the year the Earth dies. 3797.
Really?
Yeah. So we only got, what is it? About 1,780 years?
Yeah.
1,780 years left. The Earth will die. Now, I know you're worried about your great times 10 grandchildren, right?
Yeah.
What are...
Hopefully one of them will amount to something, right?
What will they do? What will they do if the Earth dies?
They'll die.
No.
They're going to get their spaceship and go to fucking Mars.
There you go. Here's the caveat. However, human civilization will be advanced enough to move to a nearby star system.
Yeah, it's only like 500 million light years away, right?
Yeah, I was
But
gonna.
hey, man, if they can make artificial suns, well, sure, why
If
not?
they can make artificial sun. Now, I don't mean to pick on this.
Well,
lady.
they just make a new planet while they're at it, right?
People 500 years ago, not even 500 years ago, 200 years ago, they couldn't predict the internet. They couldn't predict phones. Maybe Ben Franklin or something, but 99% of the people could not imagine the technology we have today.
Yeah.
Maybe this lady is right, but I'm telling you, it's hallucinations. And when I'm reading this, and they're like, well, Muslims will invade Europe in 2016. Well, you can throw out all kinds of stuff. All this conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm like, well, you know what?
Well, they're fighting with Muslims now, so you can make that prediction, yeah.
Right, but I mean, she did it 20 years ago. But
But even 20 years ago, they started.
yeah, because I remember when I was doing top 10s lists, they were worried about the hordes coming from China. They were worried about the Muslims coming up from the Middle East into Europe. And then the Muslims said that they didn't like the Christians pouring down across Europe. I mean, that's the Crusades, right? How many Crusades were there? There were like 8 Crusades in the 1400s.
They need to ban religion. That's what they need to do.
You want to ban religion today?
Yeah, because that causes too much problems.
So you are not worried about your family going forward? Do you want your children to colonize the future Europe?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, if the population of Europe goes down to near zero, don't you think that the housing prices would be low, that people would flood into Europe?
Maybe there's nothing left because they burn it down to the ground.
Yeah, but if you burn it down,
Who's there to build new stuff?
again, I do all these top 10 lists. Kiev in Ukraine, right? They burned it down like 3 times. Like the last time they burned down Ukraine in World War II, and they decimated the population. 5 years later, it's bigger than it was before.
Yeah.
So if they burn it down, they just keep building it back up. Chernobyl, they said it's a dead zone, but I mean they didn't leave Ukraine. People are still in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Is that where Chernobyl is?
Yeah.
In Ukraine?
Northern Ukraine. That's one of the reasons Ukraine doesn't want to be part of Russia anymore. Is because they're like, you're always killing us,
Yeah.
and then
So they're still pissed about Chernobyl?
they're pissed about Chernobyl. They're pissed about a whole bunch of other stuff that the Russians did to them. They're pissed about stuff from World War II.
You're not born there. You think you would just move?
Oh, you mean by Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you don't know any better because you're like, oh, this sucks, but what else are we going to do? It's not like they can go work. We don't want to work at this Walmart. We want to work at Kiev Walmart instead of Chernobyl Walmart. I mean, they don't have a lot of jobs out there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't slander the Ukrainian people because, like I said, my wife is from that area. So
Was she?
yeah.
Cool.
But so you guys do not want to. Do you guys want to? Do you want that to be our scam?
What?
Why don't we take a bandana and wrap it around your eyes?
I could predict some crazy
And then you
off the
and you
wall
predict
crap.
crazy shit. But listen, we don't do predictions for poor effing people. Okay, we only do it for rich people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, and this is going to be our next topic, which is the Panama Papers, right? We'll pick on Joe about the Panama Papers. Okay,
Go to rich people and do it. And scam
you
them.
go to rich people. You have to cover your eyes.
You will lose all your money unless you give me $100,000.
Right, that's got to be the scam.
In a briefcase right now.
Yeah, and then they give you the briefcase with $100,000 in it, right? And then you tell them, oh well, invest more wisely, and then they do,
Yeah.
and they're like, we gave Joe the money, and then it worked, and all we need to,
buy more Google stock.
but we have to be ruthless. We have to be ruthless about it, because if we're not, like when you make wrong predictions, we can't let that get out. You know what I mean?
Build a bunker, because in 2156 there will be a nuclear war.
Yeah. See, and there you
There's
go.
a prediction right now, man.
2156, and that's got to be our scam.
That's funny. I like that.
But the whole thing is, I never got the impression she turned it into like being a princess or anything.
Yeah.
She stayed in her little hut, and people came to her. She didn't seek people out. They were said
Some more crazy people came to her. Where was she at?
Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's why.
What it was,
What
and
else is there doing in Bulgaria?
Yeah, nobody knew about her.
this was, well, they said it was like almost like Jesus. Back in the days of Jesus, there was no TV, radio, word of mouth. Oh, there's this guy who does miracles. Well, in Bulgaria,
tricks.
yeah, and he does neat tricks.
That's the dumb trip.
He was the original Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but so word got out in Bulgaria. They're like, there's this lady who could see the future. People would travel far and wide. And there was a Bulgarian TV star who went to see her, and she goes, can you tell me what's going to happen to me? And I don't remember her name. I didn't write it down, so I apologize. But she goes, can you tell me what's going to happen to me? And she goes, please leave my presents. You don't have to pay. Just leave. And she goes, well, what am I supposed to do? You didn't do. What's wrong? Why won't you see me? And she goes, I'll tell you what. In 3 months, if you're still around, you can come back and talk to me.
See, that's what I would fear would happen to me
And-
if I went to.
And that's what happened to her. And in 2 months, she died of a car accident.
Yeah.
And she had told people around her, they said she is going to die. She won't be back in 3 months. But she couldn't bear to tell her to her face that she was going to die.
Why not? Why wouldn't she tell her, hey, you're going to die in a car accident? You know what I do for the next 3 months?
Stay in the basement?
Yeah, not driving a car. Stay away from cars.
Yeah, but again, I don't think they had like interstates in Bulgaria. I don't think it's a hard thing. Half the people of the population
If
died
you're
on the
walking
stone
down
road.
like the road and you see there's one car coming out of nowhere, be like, oh crap, I'm going to die from a car. I'm going to start heading that way, away from this car that's coming
Jump
at me.
into the bushes.
Yeah, so I'm
So that lady kind of sounds like a dick. She
Well-
didn't even give that lady a heads up. What's up with that, man?
again. I don't want to. Number one, I don't want
I'd
to.
come back and haunt the shit out of her.
Number one, I don't want to besmirch the dead. Number two, she seemed like a tortured woman her
Yeah.
whole life. She lived to be 80 years old, and she didn't see for like 70 years.
Yeah, imagine
They,
that.
they said her husband died like when he was 38, so literally she lived 40 years alone in the dark with people saying, hey, what's my future?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad for her. And if she was in tune with the spirit world, I'm sure that once she died, if there's spirits, my wife believes in all that. And
Right.
I was telling Joe in the car, my grandmother, she used to do all that astrology stuff. Oh, everything you do is controlled by the forces of nature and the planets and blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to badmouth anybody in case she's like really high up in the spirit world there now.
The spirit world.
Yes. In case she's right and we're making fun of her on
Yeah.
making a speech.
Well, we already did make fun of her, so it's too late.
But
now.
I'm going to disclaimer on it that it was Joe Coughlin.
You could put my name all over that.
You're not worried about her.
No, I'll call it Ghostbusters.
The classic Ghostbusters or the
Yeah.
all new
No,
female
no,
Ghostbusters?
classic. Bill Murray and what's his? Oh, well,
Harold
he's
Ramis.
dead though. Maybe he. Hey, I could call him. Right, he's a ghost now.
Yeah, you could call Harold Ramis. So the next thing was the Panama Papers. Do you know what the Panama Papers are?
They're papers from Panama.
You really don't know what the Panama Papers are?
No.
Okay, about a week ago, and Ted can correct me because I haven't been following it that closely. Since you don't know what they are, I'm just going to ask you some generic questions.
Okay.
When you are super rich and you're $1 billion, you have
Me?
$1 billion in your bank account, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm being dead serious. I'm not tricking you.
Yeah.
You have $1 billion in your bank account.
Yeah.
Do you take that $1 billion and say, you know what, I love America, and I want to pay all the taxes I can to the American government, or do you take your $1 billion and hide almost all of it in overseas offshore accounts where the American government doesn't know how much money you have?
No, I'll pay my taxes.
You would pay your taxes.
Yeah, my luck, I'll get caught. That'd be my luck. That'd be in prison.
Well, the Panama Papers, it exploded this week. Not just in America, but people all over the world are taking their money, and instead of paying taxes on their money, they are hiding it in offshore accounts.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one example.
Tell me how that's working out for them.
Well, that's where I'm going. The Prime Minister of Iceland, he came from a rich family. He took all his money, hid it in the overseas accounts, these offshore, not Swiss bank accounts, but offshore accounts.
Yeah.
And he got named in the Panama Papers. They started like riots and protests. This guy's got to step down. He's stealing money. He's hiding money. He won't pay taxes in Iceland. Iceland, it's basically like Maine in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Putin, I know you find this hard to believe, but like 4 of Putin's top 5 advisors were also on the list.
Yeah.
Well, if you ask me, even before this happened, do you think Putin is hiding money in offshore accounts? I'd be like, well, yeah. Right? And in Russia, they're like, what we do you need to know about is the Westerners who hide their money in offshore. But it doesn't matter.
I just see Putin saying, I ain't paying taxes anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I'm saying. So
I don't see him hiding his money. He's like, I'm just not paying taxes.
they said in Russia it's not a big... But, you know, those people in Russia, they're not going to go protest. They're not, we demand Putin steps down. You don't want to wake up dead, in a plywood bed there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but this is spread, I guess there's 12 countries where it was really bad.
Yeah.
And Iceland and Russia were the two.
What about the U.S.?
They said so far in the U.S. there haven't been any politicians
Government
yet.
officials?
Yeah, there's no Clinton, no Obama,
Just a bunch of
no
billionaires hiding their
Romney.
money?
Yeah, they said the first American businessman to be hit by it is, you probably know who it is, you probably don't, David Geffen.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
And they said that he's the first American businessman, and he's like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. And he's pleading.
Was he
I thought
Amazon?
he's in charge of the David Geffen group, right?
Yeah.
He's
It's,
basically like
recording.
Okay.
industry.
he's like Warner Brother Records,
Okay.
and he's hiding his money so he doesn't have to pay taxes. Geffen's probably worth at least $500 million. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never heard, but I would assume that's, yeah.
So basically, he's trying to skate out of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of taxes.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked you, what would you do? Would you be like, I'm paying my taxes? Would you be like, I'm going to hide it under the bed? Or would you do it on...
I would just build a spaceship and just get off this planet as fast as I can.
Oh, wait. I haven't. I didn't throw this one away. You would get off, you would go on a spacecraft, okay? So you are going to try to get out of here before 2480, before the 2 artificial suns fly.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Venus.
No, you cannot. I'm telling you, you can't
She
go
said
to...
I can.
No, they want to go to Venus for resources, but you
That's
can't
what
go
I'm
to
going
Venus
for.
because of sulfuric acid.
We'll go there for resources. Take all the resources and bring them back here and sell
You're going to sell vials of sulfuric
Yeah.
acid.
it.
But so the Panama Papers, it's a big... every day I read another news story, and they said there's literally thousands of people, but because I guess there's like 100,000 pages of documents that they're still sifting through to see who's in them.
And who's going through this?
I guess this happened in Panama, and it was kind of like WikiLeaks, where they leaked it to the Western press,
Yeah.
right? Well, a lot of people in Russia are like, oh, there's the people in the West trying to blow things out of proportion again. So,
Gotcha.
but some of them were like,
So you would hide your money?
would I hide my money?
Yeah.
If I had $1 billion, I wouldn't hide it. I'd be like, I would be too afraid of the same thing that's happening to a guy in Iceland. You know,
Yeah.
they're literally in Iceland with pitchforks ready to string the guy up.
That would be my luck.
But like I said, Putin's like, yes, I stole the money. And, you know, I dare you to say something.
Yeah.
You know, I know you don't like Jim Rome, but did you ever hear that Jim Rome told the story about Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots?
No.
Robert Kraft, he's the head of, what, Gillette Shaving?
No, it's cheese. Kraft cheese.
Yeah, but doesn't he do Gillette too? It's Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, it's
He
Gillette
might,
Stadium.
but he mostly that Kraft cheese.
Okay, well, he's in charge of $1 billion business.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
He went over, he wanted to expand the business in Russia,
Yeah.
and at the same time, Putin wanted to meet Kraft because he's like, you know, I want to meet a successful American businessman, and I like the New England Patriots. I like the way your guys beat each other in the head better than the other guys beat the other guys in the head.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't know American football.
Yeah.
Right? But he goes, I'm a fan of the New England Patriots. Supposedly, and I heard this on the Jim Rome show, so I don't know if it's true or not. The story is Kraft and Putin are talking, they're getting along swimmingly, and Putin says, that Super Bowl ring. He said, I'd like to see your Super Bowl ring. He goes, oh yeah. And I'm taking off my wedding ring as an example, right? Oh crap. See, I'm getting fat, so I can't slide it off. Like
It's getting stuck
I
in your
used to be
finger.
able to, right? We'll use this over here. Instead of my wedding ring. So Kraft takes the ring, puts it on the table, right? And Putin's going, let me see that ring. Oh, that is nice. That is fine craftsmanship. That is I cannot get over. You know, it talks about the ring for 10 minutes, and he keeps doing this, you know, eyeing the ring. And then they keep talking, and Putin takes the ring off the table and puts it in his pocket, right? And again, I heard this is the story on the Jim Rome show,
Yeah.
right? And Kraft doesn't think anything of it, but he noticed it. You know, that's a couple $1,000 ring.
Probably more than that.
And Putin goes, okay, well, you have a great day. And supposedly Kraft goes, yeah, I just need my ring back. And supposedly Putin said, what ring? And then when he says what ring, right?
Yeah.
Then the guys come in, they're like, oh, President Putin, thanks you for your time. And they start escorting him out. And he's like, hey, my ring. And this isn't funny. And Putin is like, I am not familiar with this ring that you speak of. So the urban legend is that he poached one of Kraft's 3 rings.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
What
But-
balls on that guy?
Well, but the whole thing is, this is...
And he was in Russia?
Yeah, he was
So
in
what-
Russia.
What
he
was he going to do?
Yeah,
What
he's
are you gonna
in
do?
Moscow. You know,
What are you going to do? Are you going to, like
yeah.
press him?
Yeah, well,
give me my ring back.
well, that's
you.
the whole thing. And you're exactly right. If he presses them, all of a sudden they can't open Kraft factories in
Yeah.
Moscow, right? Or they can't, sell Gillette shavers,
Yeah.
right? But it leaked out through the thing that he doesn't have all 3 of his rings.
Well, I'm sure he got another one when he got back.
Oh, yeah. But I'm like, and that's why it's funny because the guys that work with me, Ted and Joe, I have my screensaver is Putin flipping people off because you could see him doing that.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with the Panama Papers. He's like, what money do you think that I stole? And they said, and so far, I don't want to get, palladiumed up, with radioactive, tea or whatever happened in England. They haven't named Putin, but they named 4 of his 5 top advisors.
Yeah.
So when you dig in deeper, he's probably going to, pop up in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that story, it's amazing.
That's
It's like,
funny.
yeah, and what would you do?
Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah, because you're like screwed all the way around.
Yeah.
There is no win.
Once you ask him the first time, he said, what ring?
Yeah.
Would you even bother us asking the second time?
Oh no.
Like, I'm a billionaire. I'll take that loss.
Yeah.
I'll take that $10,000 ring loss or whatever.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's got 2 other ones, and like you said, he can make another one.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Hey, I lost the 2002 ring in Russia. Could you order me up another one?"
And it makes for a good story too.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. Putin.
but
What ring?
but Ted, he always laughs because Putin or Russia comes up in every episode.
Yeah.
So. I'm sorry, I had to take a sip of water. My throat is just raw today.
Yeah, talking too much.
Well, what would you like to talk about the children?
No, what's there to talk about?
Well,
Crying, pooping, and peeing.
you can. I had a friend when his son was born. He said it changed his life. He felt like he was complete as a human, and blah 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 blah. Like this whole thing.
Complete?
Yeah, he was all crazy.
I don't feel complete.
And then the second time it happened, I said, "Oh, are you used to it?" And he goes, "No, it's more beautiful the second time around. You can enjoy." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Do we know who this is?
Yeah, I'll write it down, but I don't want you to say it on air because if he actually listened to it, he would.
I think I might know.
He would get mad that we used his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not who I was thinking.
Yeah, and he was talking about what a beautiful experience it was, and it was. And I'm like, all I thought was pressure. Like, oh my god, I don't want to accidentally drop the kid, and how much this is going to cost, and blah blah blah. I wasn't thinking this is the most beautiful time of my life.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about dropping them.
You didn't feel complete. You didn't feel like that God has blessed me with 2 bundles of joy.
Oh, God blesses me all day long. I'm just blessed. I'm
Every
blessed
time you
person.
change a crappy diaper, you're not like, here's another the
Another
blessings keep on coming.
Every 35 minutes, waking up screaming, and the other one wakes up screaming, and they don't go back to bed, and they're pooping everywhere, and oh yeah.
Well, I know that you don't
Going
always.
through formula every 3 days, $20, boom, 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 boom.
I know you don't always get along with your neighbors. Do you hold them up to the walls?
I stick their little chairs. They sit in these little rocking chairs. I stick them right against the wall. They're facing the wall. I'll let them just scream away for like 2 hours. Last night I let the one scream.
Really?
I let him cry for like an hour. I didn't know what he wanted. Held him, wouldn't stop. Changed him, fed him, held him, wrapped him up. Nothing. He wasn't happy by it. He wasn't having anything. He was just pissed. He said, "Hey, all right, buddy. I ran Jurassic World. I popped that on, cranked it up. So I got so no wonder why my neighbors love me. I have a screaming baby, and I have the TV blasted because I have to listen to it over the baby. So I'm sure all my neighbors are hearing screaming babies and this dinosaur movie. I mean, what else am I gonna do? I mean, he wouldn't stop, so I didn't know what else to do. So I said, "All right, well, I'm sitting you back down, and you could cry it out because I don't know what else to do."
Now I'm sad.
Are you? Do you wanna come over and take one
No,
for the night?
No, I'm not.
See how it is.
No.
See how blessed
One-
you could be.
One was bad, and you know what? And I don't know if I told you this story, but I think I did. Doug Saplita, when I had my kids did the same thing, right? But I didn't have twins. I just had one. Right?
Yeah.
Doug Saplita goes, "I really don't understand what the problem is." I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" Oh, I shouldn't have said his last name.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's not listening. He said, after 3 days, my kids slept through the night 9 hours.
After 3 days.
3 days. He goes, "You're joking around about like 2 years later, my kid's still not sleeping through the night." And he's like, "Fred, I'm telling you, all of my kids within 1 month were sleeping 9 hours through the night."
Wow.
He goes, I'm like, "You know what? I hate you, Doug."
Well, mine came premature, so they wake up every 2 hours to eat.
Oh yeah.
So I can't.
But I
help
mean,
that.
eventually it'll sort itself out. And like I said, twins are worse than one. But I'm like, I never heard of kids like kid after kid to just after a week they're sleeping all the night through.
Yeah. What is he giving them?
I don't know. He's probably giving them vodka.
Give him some Benadryl.
No,
There's
he-
some Benadryl.
He was a good Christian.
Yeah,
He said he didn't give them
I'm
anything.
joking around.
But no, other people, that used to be the trick in the 50s and 60s. Your kid doesn't sleep, you put vodka or whatever on their gums.
Rum.
Wasn't that the thing?
Whiskey.
Is it rum or whiskey?
Whiskey.
I heard they would put it on the kids' gums and then they would kind of gum it up and then
Put
it
it on
would
the
relax them.
pacifier.
Yeah.
Let 'em suck on the pacifier.
Yeah.
I do that to mine now.
Shut up! Shut up!
The one day he was at it. I mean, it was like 3 hours. I'm like, "How are you not tired?"
Yeah.
From just crying and crying and crying. I didn't know what to do. I was about to say, hey, take him to the emergency room. I don't know what's going on with him. So I just got so frustrated. I was trying to feed him, trying to do this, trying to do that, so I'm trying to feed him again. And he's just not crying. I stuck him in the thing, stuck him in his thing, his chair, buckled him in, took the bottle, threw it against the wall, and just like, that's it, I had enough. I can't do it no more. Yeah, it gets to you. You just got to walk away for a minute. Walk away, step outside for a minute, calm down, and go back in. Go at it.
Well, Ted, I got it. You didn't see it, but it was on Facebook. One of our old friends, Dave Green, he said something about how are the crying babies? It's like working with Fred Hunt.
I
Right?
posted a video of my kids crying both at the same time. And I posted online, I just posted like twins at it again. And then Dave Green's like, LOL, it's like Fred at work.
So see, he could relate. I warmed you up for that.
Yeah,
Just yap, 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 yap.
I could deal with that.
How about that?
Just screaming 24 hours. It's fun times.
Well, did you get to see any, like, you said Jurassic World, you turned it up over the kids?
Yeah, I mean,
Was it a good movie?
I've seen it in the movie theater. I just wanted to watch it again.
Did you see anything at like 4
My
in the
daughter
morning?
wanted
Was
to
there
watch it.
was there any good porn on at 4 in the morning?
Oh, I don't got the good channels.
Oh, okay.
I'm poor. Come on.
So they're like a month and a half now?
Yeah, they were February 18th. They were born. What's today?
Yeah, it's like
2
a month
months.
and a half,
Yeah.
almost 2 months.
So is it
Months.
like calmed down at all, or
No,
is it like when they
No.
first came home?
no, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
It's chaos at my house. Not including throw a 4-year-old on top of that.
Yeah, the 4-year-old, that's the
So it's
kicker.
like, don't even bother trying to clean the house.
How does she is she adjusting to?
Oh,
it?
she's fine. She runs around and yells and screams and wakes the kids up. It's a good time.
When you tell her to be quiet and she says no and starts screaming.
Well, you tell her to be quiet, but she's 4. So 2 minutes later, she's jumping off the couch onto the floor next to the kids, sitting in their chairs.
She's not playing any good games with the kids, like putting them on the couch and then like making them fight or anything.
No, we don't.
No,
we
no
don't
baby
let her,
games or anything.
No, we don't let
Okay.
her mess around with the kids.
Oh, okay.
We maybe let her hold her while we're there with
Oh,
her.
no, I know. I'm just teasing
But
you.
I'm not
I
letting
really
her go
think
there
you
by
did that.
herself and pick it up. Though the one time I went in the kitchen and I came out and she had a pacifier. She's like jamming it into the one kid's mouth, like jamming it, like her whole finger was in her mouth. And the pacifier was. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm trying to give him pacifier. I'm like, remember, don't touch him.
That's nice that you have helpers everywhere you
But
go.
no, she's all right with it. I said, go give me a diaper. She goes, give me a diaper.
That's how I am at work. When we were doing the destruction project yesterday, I was trying to, break things, and
Yeah.
you had to take control.
It was all right. Good times.
So, so basically, it was babies for a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to go away, but I had no money, so I was going to go to Vegas or something, but I couldn't do that because I'm broke.
Would you have gotten if you had money, right? Because I know people who have done this, dads who are like, oh yeah, I got a business trip in Vegas, when their kid's 2 months old,
Yeah.
right? So if you had the chance, you would do that.
If I had money.
If you had money.
I made the money and I had,
If you
I
were
had a
David
lot of money.
Geffen. Well, I think David Geffen
I
is
would
gay,
have
isn't
to. I'd have to ask. I wouldn't ask.
he? You would just be gone.
Yeah,
You
I'd be
would
like, hey, you live in this house because of me. Look at our lifestyle. I make all this money. Yeah, I'm going to Vegas for like 3 or 4 days.
And you could hire a midwife or a
But
thing to help
you
out.
don't like it, leave. I just wouldn't file the divorce papers if she tried to divorce me. Right?
Yeah, don't say that on the radio though.
Why?
Oh, that's right. Nobody's listening. The only one who's listening. I noticed, like, since you went on hiatus there, I think the only person who listened is Ted. Even Dave stopped listening because he's got to get ready for his wedding.
Big wedding, huh?
Yeah.
No, actually, I didn't even listen.
Oh, thanks, Ted.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. So I think you texted me once about it, but I'm like,
Well,
I'm not going in that place.
The one time I texted you, I did it because I'm like, you know what? He's probably stressing out. And then after I talked to Jen, I said, you know what? He probably doesn't want to hear my voice at all. It's probably as grating as a baby crying, seriously. And I'm like, I'm not going to bother him. And I just waited for you to come back, and it was
Yeah, thanks
exciting.
for that.
The only joy you had. I hear Fred's voice for 1 whole month.
No, it was all right. I liked being at home. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was kind of messed up because after a while you forget what day it was.
So do you?
But then there was times I'd be in the house the whole entire time because it's like literally every like 45 minutes they would be up.
Right.
So it's not like you could go anywhere.
But while you were on your paternity leave, you got 10 days of paternity leave, right?
Yeah.
And then because you had vacation time, you took 2 weeks of vacation, so you had a grand total of 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So I just have to put the password back in because the screensaver shouldn't have come up. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had the time, but while you were gone, San Francisco passed a law that you have to give 6 weeks of paternity leave.
How sweet is that, man?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You kind of got screwed.
Oh, I think I got screwed anyways because I had 2, and you get 10 days. Well, we
Right.
get 10 days for 1. If I had 2, don't I get 20?
I would think that you would get 20. That's 2 kids.
No, they said no because it's just 1 birth.
Oh, so they
Consider
don't
one
go by
birth.
kids. They go by births.
Yeah, but you're just giving birth to 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 births.
So you got ripped off.
No, because I'm actually going to call HR maybe tomorrow and see.
And see if you can add 10 more days.
Yeah. I'm going to ask them. Well, I tried to get 6 months, but they wouldn't.
You know what you need to do is get 10 more days right after the other guy has the surgery, so we have 2 people off.
Yeah.
And then the crap will hit the fan.
That'd be sweet, wouldn't it?
We have a business model.
Well, no, it has to go by through them first anyways. They'd have to approve it first.
Right. Oh, no, I know. I know.
So that 10 days, that's paid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Should be more than that, though.
We have a business model at our local branch. It's not a national thing. But we have a business model at our branch where if 0 people are off, we have too many people working. But if 2 people are off, we're shorthanded and the sky is falling.
2 people, try 1.
So it needs to be somewhere between 0 and 2. So
San Francisco, they passed that?
they just passed. They literally just passed it.
Month
But
and a
it's
half.
Month and a half paid.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Wow.
But it's not in Oakland. It's not in San Jose. I don't know if it's San Francisco City only or the county of San Francisco. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's the city limits of San Francisco. You know, like where all the .coms are.
That's
But
a
I'm
lot.
not 100%.
That's a lot of time off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to pay somebody just to not to work.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. So when people are
I mean,
listening,
why is it the corporation's responsibility to pay for somebody because they decide to have a kid? To have
well,
a month and a
California,
half off.
while you were gone, California also passed $15 an hour minimum wage.
Now, how could you even afford to have a business there?
Well, that's what a lot of businesses are saying. They're saying we can't
But
afford it.
that's by 2022.
Right.
So it's not.
Yeah, it
Doesn't
doesn't
go into
start
effect
tomorrow.
So
Wow.
I mean, these people have to realize, yeah, you're going to get paid $15 an hour, but everything's going to go up.
Yeah.
So you go to a grocery store, hey, you might have bought a loaf
But
of bread for $2, but now it's going to be $4.
Their argument is the cost of living in California is so high that you have to do something.
And the
but
grocery
all
store
it's gonna
gonna be
do
like,
is
all right, I got to
push
pay all
the
these
cost
people
of-
this amount of money. Well, I'm going to raise all the prices on
Right.
everything. So then in like 5 years, you're going to be like, oh, $15 is not good enough. We need $25 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, people are something else, man. Really are.
Well, things
That's
are.
why I want to be a billionaire and build my spaceship and fly far, far away.
Yeah. You want to get off of Earth before the 2 colliding artificial
Take me
suns
and
hit.
my tribe and start somewhere else in the new world.
If I die on my way home tonight, I'm going to be really.
Then you know who the people are going to come back and they think are aliens? It's
Yeah.
going to be me. It's going to be my children. My great-great-grandchildren.
If you had $1 billion, you're the type who doesn't want to die. You're gonna be like, you're gonna put my brain in a robot
I'm
or
going to
something.
be like that one dude where he freezes his head.
Gary.
Walt-
Was it Luke? No, not
Walt
Luke Gary.
Disney.
No.
Wasn't it
Walt Disney and the baseball. Who's the baseball player?
Oh, that was Ted Williams.
Ted
Yeah,
Williams.
yeah, Ted
I was
Williams.
thinking Luke Gary, but it's Ted Williams.
And
exactly.
Walt
Ted
Disney, too,
Williams.
did that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I was thinking Ted Williams, though, because the problem with Ted Williams was he was having all those problems. They said his body started to thaw out. They didn't freeze it
They
right. They
didn't do
didn't
his
hang
back.
him up to...
They didn't even do his. I think they just did his head.
Well, they only have his head now, but when they froze it, supposedly they froze it all and they messed it up. Now they just have his head.
Oh, so they froze the whole entire body?
I thought
And then
that's
they
what
effed
happened.
it up so bad that they only used the
That
head?
they just have the head, and then they like hung the body. There was like a whole bunch of like they put like his freezer half defrosted, and they said the Ted Williams thing was how not to do cryogenics.
Like if you were the sun, would you be like, all right, just burn them up, burn them to ashes?
No, I think the sun really thinks that there's like money in it. Like one day, we could create another mega hitter and we could sell his genes for $1 million. You know what I mean?
So was this what Ted Williams wanted, or it was just his son doing this?
I got the impression that towards the end, Ted Williams was kind of.
He would just agree to anything?
Yeah, he would agree to anything. Like, hey, just sign this.
They had an interview with one of those guys that worked there, and they said his head is like frozen to a can because when they dip it into whatever they dip it into, they had to use something so it wouldn't hit the bottom of the container or whatever. So they put a can, and stuck his head on top of the can when they stuck him in that. Where they freeze him at?
Yeah.
So when they pulled it out, the can was frozen on the bottom of his head.
Yeah, I had heard, like I said,
or to the top of the head, one of the two.
I don't remember the details because it was a long time ago. But you're right; it was literally problems all over the place with that.
They should make a museum where you go see it.
You could charge admission. They used to have Lenin out. They used to have his body, and now they took him back off. After the first leader of the Soviet Union, Lenin, right? Yeah. They respected him so much that they laid him in a tube and let everybody, when you would go to Red Square, you'd see Lenin. And they'd say, hey, Lenin, and, he's laying there in the glass tube, dead. Yeah. Well, they took him and they put him somewhere else a couple years later, or a couple years ago, and said, we don't want him in Red Square anymore. Really? But I don't know where they put him.
So how did his body, stay... How did it not, deteriorate?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it was refrigerated or if it had a fake base like in a grocery store or what.
This is just a wax mummy of him.
Oh no, it really was him.
How do you know?
That's what they said. Well you're right. They could have lied.
Why would Russia lie?
Yeah, well that's true. That's true.
Maybe they'll do that to Putin.
He'll have the ring on.
Yeah, I'll have the ring on.
He's flipping Americans
with
off.
the ring.
I got your ring. All right, Joe. We're 1 hour in. I only got one more topic. Do you care about talking about drummers, or are you going home?
Yeah, let's talk about drummers.
You want to talk about drummers?
Yeah.
Okay. Rolling Stone magazine, which I hate, because according to Rolling Stone magazine, everything was great from 1969 until 1980. Everything before 1969 was good because it built up to that era, and then after 1980, everything sucked. Okay? More or less, and I'm rounding, but, they're idiots at Rolling Stone.
Everything after 1980 sucked.
Yeah. Okay? Well, maybe you agree. Okay? So, they came out just last week, not 20 years ago, last week, they came out with a list of top 100 greatest drummers of all time.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm not going to know any of these people.
Well, you'll know some, but that's what we're going to talk about, and that's why. But so I was so mad because you would think that rock and roll ceased to exist in 1984, right? Because it's like, oh, there's no great rock drummers now, okay?
Yeah.
So me and Ted started to talk about it, but like I said, we'll go and talk about it, and I'll throw you some curveballs. You can see what you have to say. We're just going to do the top 10, because I don't want to go through all 100, because we went through all of Baba Vanga's predictions.
Bamba.
Number 10, I know you know who this is. Number 10, 10 greatest drummers, Stuart Copeland.
Oh, yeah.
Police. Yeah. This is where things get a little dicey. And Police, their best album was probably Synchronicity, about 1983.
Yeah.
And then what? Police, they were broken up by the late 80s, right?
Yeah, probably like 86.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Number 9. And again, I have to point this out. You were in a band. You were in a band called Wasted Space, right? And you love classic rock. Rolling Stone is trying to sell their magazine to you. 50-year-old, you're not 50, but you'll be 50 soon. Yeah. They're trying to sell their magazine to 50-year-old Ted. They want Ted to read about the 100 greatest drummers. 9th greatest drummer in the history of rock and roll music, Al Jackson Jr.
I don't know who that is.
He was the drummer for Booker T and the MGs.
No, I've heard of them.
Yeah. But I'm like,
Al Jackson Jr.?
Al Jackson Jr.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's what you're going with. The guy from the Booker T. So this is why I'm really pissed at Rolling Stone. By the time
did you know who that was?
I have no idea. You don't know who Al Jackson is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see you're a big Booker T and the MGs fan.
Got all the records.
Well, it gets worse. Number 8 is Mitch Mitchell. Do you know who Mitch Mitchell is?
Yeah, I actually did. That's Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
I was gonna
Jimi
say
Hendrix.
something familiar.
Jimi Hendrix died in 1970.
1970.
1970. Did Mitch Mitchell do anything past the time Jimi Hendrix died?
I don't know.
So basically, 8th greatest drummer. Jimi Hendrix only had one proper album. He had, 8 albums of, live at, here, live at there, the studio sessions, but he only had one album, correct?
That I'm not sure of. I think it might have been more than that. I think it might have been 2 or 3, but I'm not.
But you're basically saying you're the 8th greatest drummer in history off of 2 albums.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Number 7, Gene Krupa. Joe's rolling his eyes.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was the drummer for the Benny Goodman Band, which is basically big band music, right?
Yeah.
And his claim to fame is he is the first rock drummer. Like, he invented rock drumming. And Joe's right. See, that's why I said you're not going to be able to stay awake for this.
Mm-hmm.
For this.
This is good napping time.
So number 7, I'm like, you can't give it to the first rock drummer. He discovered it. You put him somewhere down at number 75 because he discovered it, right? But I could name 100 rock bands that are better than him. You know what I mean? Like, average rock bands today are a better rock drummer than Gene Krupa was for the Benny Goodman Band. And I don't think my grandfather is coming back from, the retirement home to yell at me that I'm wrong. Okay, this is Rolling Stone magazine. He ain't reading Rolling Stone magazine. Okay, number 6 is a tie. Clyde Stubblefield and John Starks. Do you know who those two gentlemen are?
I don't.
Now, again, these are the top 10 greatest rock drummers of all time.
Clyde Stubblefield and John Starks.
Yes.
Tony Starks?
Not Tony Stark's, not Iron Man.
All right, fellas. I gotta get going.
I knew I would chase you out on top 10 rock drummers. Joe, it's always an honor to see you. We'll try and do this again next week.
All right.
Thank you for playing with us.
It's an honor to be here.
Say goodbye to your children.
Goodbye to my children.
Or say hello to your children, not goodbye to your children. I'm sorry. Say hello to your children.
Hello.
You don't even
As
want
I
to guess
scream.
who Clyde Stubblefield is? Not even a wild, random guess?
Clyde Stubblefield.
Stubblefield.
Nah, I have no idea.
They were the drummers for James Brown,
Oh, wow.
the Godfather of Soul. Now, Godfather of Soul is great. James Brown is great. You could probably sing me 10 James Brown songs. Can you, off the top of your head, even think of one drum solo from James Brown?
No, but isn't he another one who, when he died, somebody was keeping his body?
Yeah, they were fighting over.
Yeah.
They were all of a sudden, one of his daughters wanted part of his estate, and the wife wouldn't give it to him because she wanted all the money. Yeah, he was another one who got embroiled in a thing there. Okay, see, this list is just getting better and better. Now, you would not agree with any of this.
Now, James Brown, you said both those guys were from the James Brown band.
Yeah.
Did they have 2 drummers at the same time, or?
I believe they were at, different times, because James Brown was active from the 50s to the 90s. So, okay, number 5. You ready?
Yeah.
Hal Blaine.
Is he any relation to David Blaine?
No.
Hal Blaine?
Hal Blaine.
Oh, God, that sounds a little bit familiar, but
He had 40 number 1 hits. He played on 40 number 1 hits.
40 number 1 hits. What
Yep.
was he, like, with Elvis or something?
Nope. 150 top 10 hits. He was the drummer on 35,000 songs.
Oh, was he a studio guy?
He was a studio guy. He was the main go-to guy for the Phil Spector Wall of Sound.
No.
Now, if I make 35,000 of anything, and we'll use a guy who's not on the list, it's fairly universal that Eddie Van Halen is one of the greatest guitarists, right?
Yes.
And I thought it was fairly universal that Alex Van Halen, the drummer, right, is one of the greatest drummers of all time. Not according to this list. Hal Blaine made 35,000 songs, and somehow he's better than How many songs did Van Halen make in their career? 150? 100? I mean, they were not prolific.
No. Yeah, probably somewhere between 100 and 150.
And I would just... And like I said, I'm not a young guy. I'm not some 22-year-old snot-faced kid who goes, oh, you know... How is Alex Van Halen not in the top 10 and you're listing Hal Blaine? And it says he was responsible for Phil Spector's Wall of Sound Vision. It's like, you know what? This list is so invalid. It's not even funny. Okay? The last four you'll recognize, and we already talked about. Number 4, Neil Peart.
Yeah, right.
I always learned he was the greatest drummer. If they put him at number 4, that's close enough. You know, because Rush is not every... Some people love rock, and they just you just can't get into Rush. You can't get into the screaming and the meandering of the...
Now, this is Rolling Stone?
Rolling Stone magazine.
So was the Rolling Stone, what was it, the writers who picked these?
Yeah, they had like 10 writers. They all got in a room, and then they made the list. So
No,
it's
have
not
they
one guy.
done the same thing with, like, guitarists?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they did
Where
that
the
like...
writers picked it, not the readers.
Right. It was like, they did that one like 15 years ago. But this one, like I said, this is just last week, okay? Have you noticed that all these guys, The Police is 1980, Booker T's 70s, Jimi Hendrix 70, Benny Goodman 40s and 50s, like you said, James Brown 60s, 70s, 80s, Hal Blaine, that's going to be 60s, Neil Peart, that's again 80s, 70s and 80s. Number 3, Ginger Baker.
Yeah, okay.
We all know Ginger Baker from Cream, but when did Cream break out? Oh, what year did Cream break out?
Oh, I think like 68 or 69.
68 or 69. The third greatest drummer, his band broke up in 1969. Right? And don't get me wrong, Beware of Mr. Baker, did you ever get to go see that documentary yet?
Yeah, I did see it. I think that you...
I told you to go see it, but I know if you got to see it.
Didn't you let me borrow the CD?
You know what? I think I did.
Or the DVD?
Yeah. You like that, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because we talked about that when it happened.
Yeah,
Ginger Baker, he went on to do jazz. He went in and drummed in the African jungles. He's a drumming genius. I can't argue that. But, again, Cream broke up in 1968. The year's 2016. They broke up 48 years ago, right? Is my math right?
Yes.
48 years ago, Cream broke up.
Now, is Ginger Baker still alive?
He's still alive, angry as hell. Number 2, Keith Moon of The Who.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Everybody knows about the exploding drum kit. He was a prankster. He's the one who put The Who on the map. And when Keith Moon died, that The Who couldn't go on, and they broke up in 1980 when he died. Except for that last part's a lie. they needed the money, and they kept going and going and going.
They made a couple more albums, and
who's Pete Townsend? Didn't he say when he died that The Who was over?
Yeah. Well, I think he got kind of like. I think Pete Townsend got kind of confused because he would say one thing like no. 100 drummers couldn't replace Keith Moon,
right?
And yet they found somebody and still went on. Yeah. So it's like he gave contradictory.
Because I always felt bad, and you
And he also said, and I'm paraphrasing, but not by much. He once said, he goes, Keith Moon's death opened a lot of doors for us. He was somebody who just would be blunt.
Yeah.
And
well, the other thing is that The Who, they made their money, right? And then when Moose died, John Entwistle, is that correct?
Entwistle, yeah.
Entwistle. He died. They were back on tour within a month, and they're like, well, we signed contracts. I mean, they didn't miss a beat. I did not hear The Who will not go on. It's like, well, what else are we going to do?
Yeah.
Well, half your band's dead. But again, I'm not them. But, at some point, you're like, well, The Who was the 4 of us, and now there's 2 of us.
Yeah, I actually saw them, I don't know, about a month ago on, who was it? It's not Jimmy Kimmel. What's the other guy? Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, okay.
On the Tonight Show, or whatever it's called. But, yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny because it's like, it's half the band. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And number 1, I already spoiled it because earlier this week I couldn't wait to tell you. Number 1, John Bonham. of Led Zeppelin. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Neil Peart, Ginger Baker, Keith Moon, John Bonham. If you could have made an argument for any of them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But again, John Bonham's dead. What year did he die?
80.
That was 80 also, correct?
Yeah, 80.
So we're talking about...
Keith Moon was 78.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about guys who have been dead for over 30 years. It's like, now, some other people who were left off the list were glaring omissions, okay? One of Rolling Stone magazine's favorite things to do is to say everything was great between 1969 and 1980, 84, and that's the best time in the history of music, except for in 1991 when Nirvana came out with Nevermind. So where do you think they put Dave Grohl?
Dave Grohl?
Yeah, drummer of Nirvana.
Dave Grohl, drummer of Nirvana. I'll say number 11.
No, 27.
27.
Yeah, that was horrible. Dave Grohl, I mean, he basically drums for everybody. He did great drumming for Queens of the Stone Age. He did that Probot project. He does everything. He's a drumming savant, right? And because he was born too late, they put him all the way down to number 27, right? Because they're scumbags at Rolling Stone. Again, agenda-driven scumbag. Number 14 was Ringo, right? And again, I don't see how you could put Ringo beneath the guy from the two drummers from James Brown.
What about Charlie Watts? Where's he at?
He's at number 12. So now here's my great omissions, okay? Which you will, okay? I'm opening this up because I don't even know the name.
Now, what did they do? The top 100?
The top 100.
Was somebody like Don Henley even on there?
I don't remember seeing Don Henley on there. He could have been, around 89 or something.
I assume like Mick Fleetwood was.
Mick Fleetwood was around 50.
Very, very distinct sound.
Well, but that's another thing. Fleetwood Mac was built around Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah.
It's Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And still they put him way down there. Even people who aren't that familiar with music know Mick Fleetwood.
I
His
assume
big
the guy
giant
from
drum.
the Chili Peppers was...
Yeah,
far
he
up
was
there.
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was way down there, but yeah. These were my three biggest arguments besides Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl at 27 just invalidates the whole list, okay? Neil Peart, the whole time
So are you saying Dave Grohl should be up?
Dave Grohl should be like a number 6.
Yeah.
Okay? Neil Peart, I always learned he was the greatest. Everything I listened to from Rush, there's stuff that you listen to Teenage Wasteland, you're not thinking John Bonham, right? You're thinking, hey, that's a great song. You're thinking of the wild guitar, But I'm not arguing Keith Moon. I always thought Neil Peart should be number 1 because whenever I think of Rush, I think of Neil Peart and Geddy Lee's high voice. That's all that comes through. Drumming, high voice.
And Neil Peart's like unbelievably big drum set.
The giant drum set. I mean, his drum set was like its own building.
Yeah.
And so, but again, it just seemed 4 was awful low for him. Okay? The second thing is, there's a punk band called No Means No. And they were not on there, right? They've been playing music since the 70s, okay? They were in high school and they started a punk band called No Means No. And I saw them live, okay? And they were a 3-piece, right? They got a lead singer and a guitarist. And now this is what I wanted to talk to you about. When you played in your band, Wasted...
So the lead singer was the bass player?
Oh, well, the lead singer, yes. He had a guitar, but they traded back and forth. They multi-instrumentalists, right? But No Means No has a lead singer, guitarist, right? And then they have the drum player. You're looking at 3 guys, 1, 2, 3 in a row. It's not deep. It's wide. And the drum kit is turned sideways, so the drummer is looking sideways. He's looking square at the side of the lead singer. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not facing the audience. He's facing the lead singer, like sideways. And the way they learned is he would always play off of his brother. You see what I'm saying? He's playing the drums.
The drummer would learn that way?
Yeah, that's the way he learned, and they would play off of each other. And he was a great drummer, but they had a great repertoire. Sometimes No Means No was only a two-piece. So it was just, the Wright brothers. You know what I mean? And when I saw him in concert, the drumming for a little punk band was the most amazing drumming I had ever seen. Now, you've heard of Green Day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Green Day said, they asked the drummer Trey Cool, they said, who's your favorite drummer? He goes, if you get a chance, there's this obscure punk band from Canada called No Means No, the best drummer you'll ever see in your life. He improvises, he plays off the singer, he plays off the guitarist, he's crazy, he'll do it. And all he could talk about was, now Green Day, everybody's heard of Green Day, and they said, well, Green Day, who's your favorite drummer? And they were like, oh, well, they ignored Green Day, screw them, And again, No Means No starting in the 70s, they didn't make the list. You would think all these punk and rock bands who know, not just me, but know of No Means No, you think they would say, oh, who's someone really obscure that everybody respects?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they didn't do that either.
Yeah.
They're like, well, who influenced the way that we do the 2-3-2 drum count or whatever? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, you said they're from Canada?
They're from Canada, Vancouver, Canada. I love No Means No. I have all their albums.
Just by the way, where is Green Day from? Are they American?
Yes.
Okay.
I will tell you the quick story of Green Day. Green Day is from San Francisco. They played the hardcore punk clubs. All our clothes are torn. We're literally screaming in the mic. We can't play instruments, right? But Green Day said, we want to be better. Between every performance, they practiced. They wanted to play their instruments better. And then by the time Dookie hit, they were good. And a lot of people are like, you sold out.
Yeah.
And they said, we didn't sell out. We practiced.
Yeah.
We wanted to get better. We wanted to make a living.
Yeah, because I saw the behind the music, and
Right.
I do remember certain parts, but I just didn't remember where they were from.
Yeah. So they were from San Francisco, and they were from, now they might have been, from Oakland, other cities in California that met in San Francisco, but when they were teenagers, they were playing the hardcore punk clubs, like where the Dead Kennedys played.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They did not start out in the suburbs. They were deep in it. Well, yeah, I know there's a lot of red. Ted's pointing at the thing. This is all red. So we're going to have to try and play with this. This is going to come out horrible, I have a feeling. But here's the last one. Now, again, Rolling Stone, they're a music magazine, right? Do I have my own music magazine?
No.
No. This is the guy I would have put on the list in the top 10, and they did not even mention his name anywhere that I could see. His name is Gene Hoglan. Do you know who Gene Hoglan is? Maybe I'm mispronouncing it.
How do you spell it?
It says Hoglan.
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay, you wouldn't. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm sorry.
No.
They're from a band called Strapping Young Lad in Canada, okay? Strapping Young Lad.
Now, it's amazing how many, for the size, population-wise, that Canada is, how many actors, musicians they produce,
But the reason I included him on the list, and you're like, Fred, you can't even pronounce his name. How do you think he's so great? Here's what he did. I used to listen to a band called Strapping Young Lad, and it was basically Devin Townsend. He's a boy wonder. He liked to play thrash metal, speed metal, and sing and scream and whatever, right? But the drumming on Strapping Young Lad was so fast, so furious, that the guy got the nickname the Human Drum Machine.
Yeah.
And again, it's literally like raining drums. This is a guy who plays drums with all four limbs. He's doing the arms, the legs, everything's going. All four things are going. And the way he kept time was so fast. Again, his nickname is the Human Drum Machine, but they couldn't find anywhere on the list for him. Right? So he strapping young lad. I'm unclear whether he left or if they dissolved and then they became the Devin Townsend Project. But then he went on to the cartoon Death Clock. Are you familiar with Death Clock?
No.
Okay. There's a cartoon on Adult Swim called Metalocalypse. Okay? And it's about a fake metal band. Well, Gene Hoglan, he was the drummer for Death Clock when they went on tour. You know, because cartoons don't really tour. You know what I mean? Nobody knows his name, but when you say, oh, he's in Death Clock, he's the Death Clock drummer. You know what I mean? And that is, of all the people that I was most upset about, I was most upset because he wasn't on there. Because that guy, he's got distinct drumming. It's fast. It's furious. It sounds like it is raining thunder from the heavens.
Now, by any chance, was Tommy Lee on there?
You know what? I don't think Tommy Lee was on there.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the list again. Because like I said, I didn't memorize it. There were a lot of people like, oh, you should have heard the drumming on the Flying Burrito Brothers album. I'm like, oh my God, nobody heard the drumming on the Flying... Like Phil Collins.
Was Karen Carpenter on there?
No. But Phil Collins was. I want to say Phil Collins was in the 30s or 40s. And like I said, I understand that Genesis was a nice band and they made a lot of money and you know how I feel about Genesis, right? But with the exception of In the Air Tonight, where the dun 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 dun, they didn't set the world on fire with any other drum bits. You basically got on the list from In the Air Tonight. Dun, 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 you know. So.
All right. I don't care anymore.
Okay, maybe Phil Collins did belong in there. I liked Illegal Alien myself. I thought that they're good drumming in Illegal Alien. But when you think of Genesis, you don't think of revolutionary drumming. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's people screaming at me, no, Phil Collins! But yeah, like I said, I would have brought in the whole 100, but then I would have been screaming because there was 50 people. There's 50 people like Gene Krupa on there, where you're like, how in the heck did you pick this guy? And like I said, there's nobody past Dave Grohl. I don't think there was a single drummer on the list past Dave Grohl. I take that back. There was one, Meg White from the White Stripes.
Oh, okay.
She was at number 90, and I remember my wife. Her best friend's husband, right? He said, hey, it was literally out of the blue. We were talking like we're talking now, right? He was like, hey, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but the worst drummer there ever was Meg White. Basically, she's a human metronome, right? Well, you just put the human metronome at number 90 above Gene Hoglan. You know what I mean? He says but the whole thing, Jack White said that she had to hold the beat because he needed her to play off of.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So he's like, it's a partnership. And he goes, your partner has to play to your strengths, and her strength was keeping time.
Yeah, you can't have two people playing lead.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that was his argument. But I'm like...
It's just like a comedy duo. You got one straight guy and one...
Yeah, Jerry Lewis.
You can't have two of the same thing.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you know what? So I was mad at Rolling Stone, and then you'll get a kick out of this because I know we're just went to 1.5, so I'll tie it up. I was so mad about this list, I wanted to talk to you about it, right? And then last night, Rolling Stone put out the top 40 punk albums of all time. I was so mad again because I listen to punk music all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And number one, they were right. It was like. Number one was Ramones, the original Ramones album, 1977. And I agree. Number two is like Sex Pistols. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Now, did the Sex Pistols, they only had one album, right?
Yes. They're another one. They had one proper album. And then they had Live at This, and then B-sides, and re-recordings, and Sex Pistols 1988. You know what I mean? But they only had one studio album full of new material. But yeah, so...
Did you have that album?
Sex Pistols?
Yeah.
Oh, I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
But
was it good?
Yeah, it was a good punk album, but again, I'll use Alice Stonut, for example. Alice Stonut has 10 albums. So, if I get tired of Untidy Suicides, Your Degenerate Children, right? I'll listen to Mule. If I get sick of Mule, I'll listen to Pure Acid Park. You know what I mean?
Now, the Sex Pistols, I don't know much about them.
Right.
But were they decent musicians?
No, they're all horrible. No, it was a gimmick. But they had one album, and once you heard the album, well, yeah, I get it. It's, 12 2-minute songs or whatever. They wasn't, God Save the Queen and Problems and Anarchy in the UK. And then you can only hear those songs so many times. Literally, they have 20 songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that includes, it would be like, oh, we redid God Save the Queen 7 different ways. Okay. I'm sorry. But the egregious thing was, and this Rolling Stones punk thing, you would think the number 20, I think it was number 20 greatest punk album of all time, was Nevermind by Nirvana. Okay? And that was the newest punk album. Well, there's been punk albums since Nevermind, and Nevermind was not a punk album.
Yeah.
Number 8 was Wild Horses by Patti Smythe. I'm like, she's not a punk. I mean, they had people in there, and they're like, oh, they weren't punks, but they influenced punk. That's why we put them on the list. And it was just egregious all the way around. So I got so mad last night that I said, this is what's wrong with Rolling Stone's premise. And then I put the top 20 punk albums of all time. And then I didn't count anything before 1977 except for the Stooges, because they really were punks.
What was that, Iggy Pop?
Iggy Pop and the Stooges, yeah. They were, I don't care what you say, they were punks, right? But other than that, no, none of those other people counted, right? You don't get to count anything else before 1977. They had television. And I'm like, no, they don't count. You count them as new wave. They had Devo on there. I'm like, yeah, so the great punks Devo. So I put my top 20 list on the movie page just because nobody cares to hear me rant about, top. Because a lot of punk albums are horrible. No Effects, right? I like No Effects songs, right? And they have 13 albums. But No Effects albums are basically 2 good songs and 12 songs of crap.
Now, would Joe know who these groups are?
Joe would know who No Effects is.
Yeah.
But punk albums, by definition, are crap. You know what I mean? There's very few punk concept albums. I made the list out the top 25 punk albums of all time. Then I trimmed it down to round it to 20. And number 21 was a band called Jawbreaker, right? Well, they're like, well, are they punk? Are they emo? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter because they're 21. I'm cutting it down to 20. And none of the 20 you could say were not punks when they made their albums. I included Mother's Milk by Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? Chili Peppers, their first 4 albums, they were punks. Ran around with no shirts on, talking about, banging girls, and, they were punks. They weren't on their game. I saw them live. They were the punkiest of punk groups. But by the time they got in their 30s, again, like Green Day, they grew up. They released Under the Bridge, their first 4 albums are Heroin is Awesome, and then their guitarist dies, and they're like, Heroin sucks. That's when they wrote Under the Bridge. That's when they went from, literally, they went from being a punk band to a rock band with Under the Bridge. Ted's nodding his head.
So
Ted's
that's basically what that song was about?
Yeah.
Was about the guitarist?
It was about the lead singer's heroin addiction, and he really was under the bridge. He was doing heroin, nobody knew where he was, and he wrote the song Under the Bridge.
That's Anthony
Kiedis.
Okay.
And when you're at the lowest of lows, the city still loves me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I love I saw the Chili, when people say, oh, when did you see Chili Peppers in concert? I saw them in 1989 when they were still punks. Once Under the Bridge came out, they were like, oh no, we're. And don't get me wrong, I still like the Chili Peppers.
Under the Bridge was what, 91, 92?
Yeah, from Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. And some of Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic is punk. But most of Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic is rock. You know what I mean?
You know what? You know what's kind of funny about Under the Bridge? I remember that song first came out, and I heard it before the drummer did.
Uh-huh.
And I was with him and his wife. We were driving somewhere, and that song came on, and this I think was the first time he ever heard it.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Who is this? Elvis Costello?"
But,
Because it's like it was a different sound for them.
yeah, and that's my. But there's a lot of bands like that, like the Goo Goo Dolls. The Goo Goo Dolls are a big alternative band. Well, they were a big alternative band when they were in their 30s. When they were in their late teens, they were a punk band, and they said, you saw the Behind the Music. They were a punk band nobody listened to. And by their late 20s, they're like, is that you or me?
No, that's got to be you.
Uh-oh. Phone's ringing. We might have to tie this up. Oh, it's home. Should we take it live on the air?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, this will be good. Hello? We're just getting ready to leave right now. I'm sorry. I'm leaving right now. I love you. Bye. All right, Ted, we're going to have to wrap this up. Let me tie up my last thought, and then we'll go. Red Hot Chili Peppers were punk. They became rock, which is fine. You know, they were able to make a living. They couldn't be old punks. They had to make money. Goo Goo Dolls is the other example, and the other famous example is Metallica. You've heard me say this before. They were one of the 4 greatest metal bands in the history of metal, period. You could argue they're the greatest one, okay? Slayer fans would come kill me. I'm an Anthrax fan. I'm partial to Anthrax, okay? But Metallica, when they released the Black Album, that's when they stopped being a metal band and they started to be a rock band. And it's the same thing with the Chili Peppers. They were a punk band that turned into... Now, I hate Metallica for what they did. But, you know, again, they got to make money. But, you know, you can't stay young forever or whatever the analogy is. So, last thing, song of the day, talking about music. Pharaoh's Dance from Miles Davis in 1970. Excuse me. In the last 2 weeks, while I was working on webcasts, I've been listening to a ton of Miles Davis. When I was in college, I listened to Kinda Blue, and I thought it was okay, but it didn't really do anything for me, right? I thought it was, like, good, but it didn't, like, touch me. You know, people are like, you can feel jazz, right? Well, I was going back to Miles Davis, and I was listening to the album Bitches Brew. Don't ask me why I was. But I'm like, this is amazing. Okay, 1970. And Pharaoh's Dance was the lead song on the Bitches Brew album, right? And I'm like, I must have listened to Bitches Brew, I don't know, a dozen times in the last 2 weeks. I'm like, I might go home and listen to it tonight.
Oh, this is jazz, right?
Jazz.
Are these all instrumentals or?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Kinda Blue is that, you know, kind of 50s, 60s jazz, you know. But 1970, when you get the Bitches Brew, that's some creepy experimental jazz that they're starting to do. And I'm like, this is just so dark. I love it. So my recommendation to everybody is if you're like me and you're old, maybe revisit Miles Davis, but go past Kinda Blue, go to Bitches Brew and listen to Pharaoh's Dance again. It is like a 20-minute nightmare. So, all right, Ted. You have a great night. I'm Fred Hunt. That's Ted Coley. My wife says time to go home. Everybody have a great night.
Good night.